LSU wide receiver Terrace Marshall returned to practice on Monday for the first time. He had surgery for a foot fracture 2 weeks ago. Head coach Ed Orgeron previously said that he had hoped to have Marshall back for the Alabama game on November 9th, and that timeline is definitely in play with Marshall practicing on Monday. Tigers also got outside linebacker Ray Thornton, who was serving a suspension last week. He returned to practice on Monday, and head coach O said that Thornton was suspended for violating team rules. Tigers going to kick off versus Florida in Tiger Stadium, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. LSU favored by 13.5 in this one. Here's Orgeron talking about the recruiting weekend on Saturday.
This is going to be a big recruiting weekend for us. We have 2 big-time official visits coming in as of now. We talked to most of our recruits last night. We'll talk to more tonight. We're going to get as many recruits to this game as we can, so it'll be a big night recruiting.
Orgeron talked about this rivalry.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's going to be nice. I think it's going to be a great game day. I'm happy for the players and the fans, man. This is where you come to LSU. This is why you want to play in this game. I watched LSU Florida, wherever school I'd be. I remember when Tebow would come in. I remember when we upset him, we would fall in 4th downs. I watched every one of those games. And even though we played them over there the last 2 years, it's a great rivalry. It's great teams. It's great players. The speed on this field is about as fast as you're going to see on a college football field this Saturday night.
Tiger signal caller Joe Burrow leads the conference in total offense, also leads it in passing yards with 372 per game. Understands this Gator-Tiger rivalry.
Yeah, everyone says that LSU has a lot of different rivals. I've heard, we have a trophy with Arkansas. Florida's a rival. Ole Miss is supposedly a rival. Alabama, but I think this is the biggest one. I don't like them very much. I know they don't like us very much, and that's kind of been the talk around here. But you just kind of have to keep your emotions in check in a game like this.
Yeah, look, I'm kind of right in line with Burrow. If they weren't 1A during my time at LSU, they were 1B. This Florida team looks like they're getting back to what they were then too, in terms of being really good. They won 11 games in a row. That's the longest win streak in the SEC right now. And they're just so Coach O said this is why you come to LSU, and he's so right. And it's not just to be on in prime time with millions of people watching under the lights. So all that is in play, and this will be a rating smash. But it's also about the stakes. What's on the line? Everything's on the line. Everything you work for in the offseason, when you're doing fourth quarter, when you're running 110s, it all comes down to this Saturday. This is either going to be a launching pad, just a continued rise for this LSU team, or it's going to stop a lot of that momentum. So, yeah, this Saturday is as big of a game as you will ever see in college football.
Pass rush specialist for LSU, Caleb Von Chasson, had the same message about this game Saturday night.
You don't. It's not even going to sugarcoat it. It's just something that, just goes wrong with the history of the programs. Obviously, 2 great teams that just bad blood collide, very passionate programs, and it's going to be something that's going to be exposed Saturday night.
I will say this, too. When you go to the Swamp and lose, when that crowd is on, they're just so nasty. And I don't mean that like they shouldn't be. I want them to be nasty. I actually love that. But, yeah, you heard stories about them throwing bottles at the players last game. Going to the Swamp and losing has a way of making you really hate this team and never wanting to forgive them. So if you want revenge, that could almost be the theme this week. This is a revenge game for this LSU squad.
Film breakdown from T-Bob coming up here in about 8 minutes on Off the Bench. Zion Williamson stole the show in his first preseason game as the New Orleans Pelicans down the Atlanta Hawks 133-109. Big Z, 16 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals in 28 minutes. Drew Holiday had 21 points and 3 assists. Lonzo Ball looked good shooting it with 9 points last night, while Brandon Ingram chipped in 19 and 6. Here's Zion after his preseason debut.
Cali is a little bit different. More people are much stronger. So, you have to find more skilled ways to score. But I feel like for my size, that's not going to be much of a big adjustment. I feel like I'll adjust very well with that.
Pelicans are in Chicago Wednesday night to continue the preseason slate.
Yeah, finding ways to score. It turns out taking a guy off the dribble from the three-point line and just throwing down a one-hawk tomahawk jam is a great way to score in the NBA. I also like that Zion kind of reinforced my size will be key in getting it done. Hell of a debut from the Pelicans last night.
7 points in the first quarter for Zion. Opening play touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football as the 49ers beat the Cleveland Browns 31-3. Baker Mayfield was harassed in his worst game as a pro as he completed only 8 of 22 passes for a career-low 100 yards, had a 13.4 passer rating, threw 2 picks, fumbled twice, and was sacked 4 times before being yanked in the fourth quarter. As we told you, Bosa, the second overall pick, Joey Bosa, the second overall pick for the San Francisco 49ers, had a sack. He had an incredible night. Forced a fumble, had 2 sacks, forced a fumble, and one of them got up and planted the flag in the field like Baker Mayfield did back in 2017 at the Horseshoe when he brought Oklahoma in there for that win in college football.
Great celebration. But as you pointed out, Jordy, Browns fans probably a bit conflicted over this. A lot of Ohio State, Cleveland crossover there, and they're watching Bosa then make their Browns suffer, but he's honoring the pride of Ohio State, so a little conflicted. Confliction. Is that a word?
Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa.
I mean, like
the Bosas.
Tomato, right? They're just like, both beast-ass pass rushers.
Don't they look like the O'Doyles? The Bosas?
If the O'Doyles were badass for sure. They give off those types of same vibes.
Saints, Jacksonville
Bosa's
opened
rule.
up. Jacksonville is opened up as a 1-point favorite versus the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. That game will be in Jacksonville. Former LSU wideout and OTB intern, Nick, you're on the right path here. DJ Chark leads the Jags with 27 receptions, 485 yards, and 5 touchdowns here in his second season. Major League Baseball from yesterday, the Yankees are advancing to the ALCS as they closed out the Minnesota Twins with a 5-1 win, sweeping that ALDS series. Tampa Bay clubbed Houston 10-3. Game 4 today, 3 o'clock. The St. Louis Cardinals tied up the series with Atlanta. That game now 2 games apiece. 5-4 yesterday winners for St. Louis. Game 5 tomorrow in Atlanta. And the Washington Nationals beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-1 in that series to force a Game 5 tomorrow in Chavez Ravine.
Moose, any surprises in these MLB playoffs so far for you?
Maybe the fact that the Nationals and Cardinals are going to a 5th game.
Huh?
I thought that'd be over in at least 4, probably 3.
Is Paul
I thought
freaking
for
out?
sure the Dodgers would be out of the first series.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming. Mad Max was mad last night.
Those are your headlines
Great
here on
movie.
Off the Bench. Speaking of great movies, T-Bob saw Joker yesterday. Nathan's seen it twice.
Wow.
Absolutely going a third time sometime this
Wow.
next. No, it's good. It's so
Damn.
good.
It's pretty spectacular.